Hey everyone, today I'm going to introduce to you a popular and effective workout structure for beginners and intermediates alike, and this is the upper lower split. Now, whether you're just starting out or looking to build a solid foundation, the split is simple, effective, and easy to follow. So today I'll be describing the benefits, what it is, and how to use this, and at the end I have also attached a free template for you guys to use if you're interested. So moving on, what exactly is the upper lower split? Essentially, like the name suggests, it's a workout split where you dedicate certain days to training your upper body, muscles like your chest, back, shoulders, and arms, and other days to your lower body, which includes your quads, hamstrings, glutes, and calves. This split is great because it's structured and easy to follow. Now, typically, you'll work out for 4 days a week, alternating between upper and lower body days with rest days in between. Like any workout routine, the upper lower split has its pros and cons. Now let's start off with the positives. First, with the pros, it's flexible. You're only working out 4 days a week, so it's pretty easy to adjust the intensity and duration of your workouts to fit your schedule. As we all know, the gym isn't our whole lives, so the fact that it's only 4 days a week is amazing. Second one is its balance. So this means there's no overlaps because you're training all major muscle groups in a way that avoids overtraining, which then leads on to the third bullet point, which is improved recovery. Since you're using a split which has dedicated days for your upper and lower body, your muscles get time to rest before being worked out again. And last but not least, it has a very good frequency. Each muscle group is targeted twice a week, which, as we all know, is the optimal range for building strength and muscle. Now, let's talk about the potential downsides. The first and biggest downside of the split, as we all know, is that it's very, very time consuming on certain days, especially upper day. Since you're working across multiple different muscle groups, some sessions can feel very long, especially if you're short on time. Um, I do know that some people like to do their shoulders on the lower days just to like mitigate this time waste. Each to their own. I personally don't do it, but I know that is a way to cut down on time. And the second one is that it's less flexible for specific goals. For example, if you're training for a sport or aiming to target a specific muscle group, this split might not be as specialized since you're working out a variety of different muscles all in one day. So you're not specifically targeting them and giving them like 100% of the attention you want, as opposed to a push-pull leg split, for example. Now, moving on, let's break down how the workout split actually looks like in practice. Each day, you'll perform 1 to 2 exercises per muscle group. This ensures that you're hitting each muscle group with enough volume, whilst also keeping the sessions manageable. Now, over the course of a week, you will target every muscle group twice, which, as we stated earlier, is the perfect range for building strength and promoting recovery. So, how will your upper days look like? I've just given an example for you guys to follow, so you can easily construct your own upper day. This is the one I personally use, but you don't have to copy it. You can if you want. I'm just using it as an example. So, on an upper day, you will typically hit 5 main muscle groups, that being the chest, back, biceps, triceps, and shoulders. So you can start off with a bench press or any other chest exercise which hits your lower pecs. Now, usually I like to go for bench press, and I do 2 sets of 5 to 8 reps with 1 rep in reserve, along with a deload set at the end with just 1 set of 10 reps with a weight I can do for around 3 reps in reserve. Now, you guys probably noticed I have not included any warm-up sets here. This is just because I just personally don't include them in my tracking. I know some people do, but I just feel like you shouldn't because at the end of the day, they're not going to stimulate any muscle growth stimulus. So yeah. And then for the second chest exercise, I like to use an incline Smith machine bench for my upper chest. Now, some people like to use different upper chest exercises such as the incline dumbbell press. I personally like this one just because it's more stable and I just feel it more. But with the incline Smith machine bench press, I do 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps with 2 to 3 reps in reserve. Now, just for some notes, for those of you who are unaware, reps in reserve, or RIR, is essentially a measure of how many reps you should have left in the tank at the end of your set. This is just used to measure intensity. So, for example, if you do an exercise with 1 rep in reserve left, that means you've done an exercise with a weight in which you only have 1 more rep to do after that. So, if an exercise has 1 rep in reserve, for example, that means you go pretty heavy on that. Whilst if something says 3 reps in reserve, for example, you don't go as heavy. Second note, progressive overload. This is very important. Essentially, it's just do more than last time. So you can do this by 2 ways, either by increasing the amount of reps you do or the weight you do. And the reason for this is because if we do the same weight and the same reps all the time, we're not going to give our body any stimulus to grow. So we need to implement this all the time. If you're not implementing this, you're never going to grow. That's as simple as that. Now, we have back next, just some lat pull downs, 2 sets of 8 to 10 reps with 2 reps in reserve. And to finish off with the back, we have a machine row with 3 sets of 10 reps of 2 to 3 reps in reserve. Now the biceps, we have a preacher curl and an incline dumbbell curl. For triceps, we have a rope pushdown. And for shoulders, we have a cable lateral raise and a rear delt fly. So here we have the first lower day. Now usually on my first lower day, I like to start off with quad movements. And with the second lower day, I like to start off with hamstring movements. And for the same goes for the upper days, by the way. On the first upper day, I usually start off with my chest exercises, and for the second, I start off with my back. Just personal preference, just allows me to prioritize each different muscle group on different days. Now, for quads, I usually like to go for a barbell squat and leg extensions. Now, for hamstrings, I do RDLs, and for calves, calf raises, and abs, I do cable crunches. You don't have to do cable crunches. Some people do sit-ups or hanging leg raises, or just your own ab circuit. Anything is fine, just as long as you hit abs. Because, you know, a lot of people think abs are just made in the kitchen. Whilst, yes, you do need to be in the caloric deficit and, get lean to see your abs. If you don't train them, they're not going to show. Okay, I personally fell for this. I didn't train them for a very, very long time. And when I did start to get lean, it was just very disappointing because, yes, my abs did show, but not as much as I wanted to. So keep that as a reminder. Still train your abs. Now, moving on, day 3 is a rest day. And day 4 of the program, we have an upper day 2. Now, I did put chest in the front rather than back. This is just because I just wanted to keep it all the same. But I usually start off my back first. So I usually do pull-ups, 3 sets till failure, and barbell rows of 3 sets of 5 to 8 reps with 2 reps in reserve. And then I move on to my chest exercises, my bicep exercises, triceps, and shoulders. So for lower day 2, I usually start off with my hamstrings. So the exercises I do personally are lying hamstring curls and good mornings. Then I move on to quads with a leg press and a hack squat. If you don't have a hack squat at your gym, you can do another squat variation. It doesn't matter too much, to be honest. And for calves, I do calf raises again. And for abs, on the second lower day, I do leg raises. Days 6 and 7 are rest days. So here is how you would use the templates which I have attached in this video. So essentially you want to input the reps you completed and then the load, which is the weight used for the exercise. So as you can see here, on week 1, just as an example, I just left it completely blank with the rep ranges I put in. Then on week 2, I actually inputted each rep I did in each set, as long as the load I used for each set. Now you want to do this because it's a very easy way to track progressive overload. And as we said earlier, if you're not implementing that, you're going to have a really hard time growing. And it's also important to see how far you've come. And not only this, you should also track your diet as well and stay consistent with your macros. But that'll be a whole different video for another time, so don't worry about that for now. Just make sure you're tracking each and every lift. So now for some important takeaways. Number one, this will always be number one. Make sure to prioritize progressive overload and to track your workouts. Two, you can run the split for 6 weeks or even 12, but if you're running this program for longer durations, include a deload week in the middle so you don't get worn out. And the last one, sticking to your diet and getting good sleep is a must, not just for this program, but for any program you do. Training is only one part of the mix. You also need a good diet and good sleep. And yeah, so that's the upper lower split in a nutshell. It's a structured beginner friendly workout plan that promotes balanced training, recovery, and consistent progress. If you're ready to take your fitness journey to the next level, this split could exactly be what you need to build a strong foundation. Thank you for watching. I'll be happy to answer anything in the comments. And if you have any other video ideas you want me to go over, make sure to put them down below. Once again, thank you for listening and train hard.